I've been experimenting with using Mid-Journey to find an image, and I like this one here, so I'm going to upscale that. That's pretty cool. You're going to come to this website here. This is the most reliable SVG converter that I've found. So just grab your image file. By the way, it really helps if your image is high contrast like this, just black and white with hard edges. It's going to be really easy for this website's tool to split it into its different components. Hit start and then download it. So I want to put this graphic over this face here, and I'm just going to disable this top one so we can see this clearly. And what you do is you come up to the insert menu and then click on insert SVG, insert from my computer, locate the SVG file and then open it. And then the next thing it's asking us to do is to select a plane to put the SVG on. And all you have to do is select the face that you want your graphic on. So I'm going to click on this face, and then you might not see it. You may have to zoom out a bunch because it might be scaled really massive relative to your part. It might also be really small. To scale it quickly, you can use this little icon here and drag it like that. You can also scale it another way. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you can also scale it in here. And so all you got to do is just position it where you want it. I'm going to set this up so it goes outside of the part. And I'm just looking at the different elements and just kind of lining it up how I want. I might shrink it a bit, just bring it over like this. And there we go. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to hit finish sketch. And now all we got to do, and I'm going to turn off these other components too. I just want to leave the one that we're working on here. And then all we got to do is just come in here and select what we would like to show up as our secondary color. And you just want to go through and select all of these parts. Okay, I think that is all of them. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to set this to a negative value because we want to cut into the part. So I'm going to go minus, and I'm going to go 0.3 because I know I want to print this at a 0.3 millimeter layer height. I'm going to hit enter. And as you can see, it's now cut into our part just like that. And so now all we got to do is bring back our sketch and do the exact same thing again. So press E to extrude and then select all the same parts. Okay, I think that's all of them. And then do the exact same thing again. So minus 0.3. But this time, instead of cutting, we're going to set this to new component and hit OK. And so if we disable our sketch, now we can see we've got this new component here, which is purely just the inlay. And then our original piece here, if we just hide it, we can see just that inlay on its own. And it looks like actually I've got some overlapping stuff here. So I think on the first cutting step, I missed this bit. So what I'll do is just on the timeline, I'll come back to this first extrude, double click on it. And yeah, I can see I didn't click on this. So I'll just add that to the selection, hit OK. And now it looks like it's ready to go, which is sick. Okay, so all we got to do now is export our two bodies. So right click on this top level of the component and then choose Save as Mesh. Make sure it's set to STL, millimeter, and high, and then hit OK. Give it a name and hit Save. And then for the other part, just right click on the body, Save as Mesh, exact same thing. And so now what we need to do is open these two models together and save them as a 3MF file. So I'm going to use Microsoft 3D Builder, and I recommend you do the same if you can. And then when you open them together, they should have the exact same coordinates that they had in Fusion 360. So they should be perfectly together. And so you can see if I grab one of these and move it, they're both there. And so all you want to do here is just Control A, select everything, and then go File, Save as 3MF. And I'm just going to call it combined. And the reason we do that is because most slices, let's take Cura for example, if we were to just drag in those two models separately into Cura, yeah, it's not going to perfectly preserve those coordinates. And you can see it's just put them both on the build plate. And so that's why we combine them first into a 3MF file. So if I bring that 3MF file in, it's floating for some reason, but that's okay. So if we set Z to 0, the main thing is our inlay and our part are still perfectly aligned. First thing we need to do is we need to group these models together so that when we move this around, we don't accidentally unalign them, disalign them. What's the right word there? Doesn't matter. So anyway, I'm going to get this flat on the build plate if I can. There we go. Now what we got to do, right click on it, ungroup the models. So now they're separate, and click on the main body and delete it, and then slice it, print that file, and then Control Z, bring the body back. And then in the parts menu, the little object list, if we select the inlay this time and delete that, and then slice this, and now print that, that'll print perfectly over top of our inlay that just printed a moment ago. So hope that helps. Good luck and have fun.